Hey everyone, it's Michael and I teach you how to become fluent in Spanish in 12 months or less. So today I'm going to talk about how to learn Spanish fluently by only practicing 3 hours a week. To some people, that's a lot. To some people, that's very little. So for the people, if you're this person, if you're trying to learn Spanish and you're doing Duolingo 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week, yeah, 3 hours is going to seem like a lot. For the people who are already in intense physical academies who really need to learn and who are in there 4, 5, 6 hours a day, 3 hours a week is like crazy. That's nothing. So it's almost like going to the gym. For the people who don't go or go once a week, going 3 times a week is a lot. For the people who go 6 times a week, 3 times a week is very little. I find that 3 hours a week through personal experimentation and those of my students is the best by far. Because what happens if you go less than 3 hours a week? I found that if I only do once a week, by the time the next week comes, I've forgotten almost everything. And half of the class, or 45 minutes of it, if it's in like an hour class, is just gonna be time spent reviewing what we did last time. If you do 2 times a week, that's pretty good. Okay, now you're doing twice a week, maybe like a Tuesday and Thursday, maybe like a Wednesday, Friday, maybe Monday, Friday, getting some space in there. Okay, now every time you go to the next time, you start to review a little bit, but you're good. You're either maintaining or you're slowly getting better. Now, when you get to 3, that's when I found that it was optimal. If you do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that's when I found you are skyrocketing. You are doing really good because by the time you get to the next class, you've had some time to rest because you're speaking. That's how I do it in my classes. When you're speaking with people, it can get very intense. So, you need that kind of break. So doing it 3 times a week, you don't forget too much. Next time you come in, it's only 5-10 minutes of reviewing, and then you can start learning. More than 3 times a week, that's when I start to burn out. I can do 4, but okay, it's starting to take a little bit more of my time. And I've tried 5, I've tried 6, I've tried 7, I've tried it all. And that's when I really burnt out. And I stopped for days, weeks, months. And when I came back, I'm okay, I can't do that. I need it to be more sustainable. So I really try to hover between 3 and 2. 4, if I'm about to okay, I'm about to have to use this language, let's get to 4 or 5. And I'm only going to do it for 2 weeks, 3 or 4. And then I'm done. But if I want to make it sustainable, 2 or 3 is perfect. Maybe even once a week sometimes if I have a really busy schedule, but 2 to 3 is just hitting it on the dot. So what are you doing during these 3 hours a week? You are speaking. That is what you have to do. If your result, this is what I teach, if your result is to speak with people, build relationships and communicate, that is what you have to practice. There's no use in you practicing 3 hours a week of reading, of studying different grammar, when you're not even speaking. That's the result. If you want to go the academic route, then that's fine. But don't confuse your goals. If you're going the academic route, then you can spend 6 hours a day reading and writing and doing all, the good academic stuff. If you're trying to speak with people, that's what you have to focus on. And it will be very intense. And by intense, I mean, when you're speaking with someone and you don't know the language very well and you're trying to think of a word, it's oh, it's not coming to me. You're using a lot of brain power. So I even tell people don't start at 1 hour a day. You're gonna start at 15 minutes. Hopefully you find a language partner where they can do some English and you can do some Spanish. It's actually almost sometimes even better than paying someone, which is good too if you don't have time to look for a language partner. If you just want to pay someone to speak with you, that's great. But there has to be that exchange, because I've had people do it for free where they're no, I'll practice with you for no charge and you don't have to practice English with me, and you feel bad because you're so bad in that language that you want an even exchange. You either want to be able to pay them monetarily or listen to them try to speak English with you. And it makes you feel so much better to be able to help the other person and have it be kind of more of an equal relationship. So start with 15 minutes, then you'll get to 20, 30, 45. Once you're doing an hour, damn, you are doing really good. I usually try not to do an hour in speaking, because then you have to listen to the other person for an hour. So I found that the best is once you get to this level, half an hour in your language, half an hour in theirs. Then you're done. 3 times a week. And Tuesday, if you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, it's optional. Like if you want to supplement with some TV shows, with some reading, with some podcasts, go ahead and do so. If not, you don't have to do anything. That's the beauty of it. You can become fluent without having to do it. Because when you're practicing, like that's when you're slowly adding grammar and vocab. So imagine on Monday, you practice with your partner and you're just having a really difficult time saying like, I'm excited about the event that's coming up. I don't know how to say that. And it's like, oh man, that was so hard. So when you finish your lesson, you look up at the vocab and you look up the grammar. The grammar doesn't really make a lot of sense, but some of the words you've heard before. So on Wednesday, you try it and he kind of, or she kind of like deduces what you're saying. And you're like, okay, cool, I got it. But like, obviously it wasn't there. Let me try like looking at it again. So these words worked, this grammar worked. Oh, but I need to include this. And then by Friday, you say it again and you're like, hey, I'm excited about this event that's coming up. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. And it's like, oh, okay, I was able to like better it. And like each time you come to the session, you get better and better and better. This way you don't get overwhelmed. The biggest reason why people stop learning a language is because they get overwhelmed, because they get demotivated, because they're like, okay, I thought fluency was at the top of Mount Everest, and it is, but I thought it was only a mile up. And as soon as I started climbing, it just got further and further and further because I didn't know how much I didn't know. So this is my tip for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.